Hello, my friends. Welcome once again to Faith Walk 101. We are so glad that you could join us. Oh, God's providence, how He foresees and provides. And that's what He does. He foresees the future and He provides for us. God's forethought and foresight into the future. His plan and purpose to get us there before we ever get started. And a lot of times we have no idea what we're going to go through to get to the end of what we want. But God already knows. And through God's providence, through His foresight, He provides a way for us to get there. It may not always feel good, it may not always be the way we want it, but His providence gets us there because a lot of times it's always about His plan, His purpose. So it's already in the mind of God, and it's over with before we ever get started. History in advance. We, when we read the book of Revelation, that's what we see. We see how the world ends up. We see what's coming. And many things that's written in that book hasn't even happened yet. But how do we know it's going to happen? It's because of the prophecies that's already been fulfilled, that was told long time ago. God told them in advance, and they came true. So we believe and we trust God, and we know that they're going to happen. So, all rational human beings we exercise some providence as much as we can. We plan our future with references to the end. So we set out to either, when we go to school, to come into a certain profession. We get jobs, and we plan on having families, buying a home. There's a plan, and with reference to how to get there, and and then there's a plan to get to that end of that plan when we make these plans, when we exercise providence, this human providence. So we try to exercise some foresight into the task that we take on. That if we're going to buy a home, then we seek out a profession first to be able to pay for those things. If we want to have a family, we get married and we start a family, and then there's an end to it. But those things don't always turn out the way we set out, and we probably can all testify to that, can't we? Maybe you got married and got divorced. Maybe you had children and they died. There's things that we don't plan on that come up. So we set out with a plan, and so that's the providence that we try to exercise. But that's not necessarily that it's going to come out to the end that we would like for it. We don't have the infinite knowledge and power that God has. This a definite end that will always come out the way God has planned it. And so even through God's providence, we will go through a lot of different things in this life. But God has an end for everything. And it comes to an end according to His plan and purpose. But divine providence and power that God has will always accomplish His desired future results. It always will. God's divine providence connects the unseen, the things that we cannot see, with the visible, with God's visible creation. And it's a wonderful thing when we step back and we just look at this world and notice all the things that God has created, the sky and the sun, nature itself. So this God's providence, this unseen, it came about. It connects us with the things that we can see so that we can really enjoy God. He shows us His supreme purpose, which is from the beginning with God. The word providence is not mentioned very much in the Bible, maybe once or twice, but it is very significant to our Christian life. When we understand the Word of God as being a progressive revelation of God's providential purpose for Israel and for the world, is very important to us. I think that is what gives us the peace that passes all understanding. It's all created by him and was created for him. So even though we may not be able to completely comprehend and understand the world that's coming, that God talks about in the Bible, I know it's hard to envision that today when all the things that's going on all around us. But we know by faith one day that this world will be without sin. We know that because the Bible tells us where this whole earth one day will be filled with the knowledge of God. And you know the word war will be no more. Nation against nation will be no more. God has already told us that these things are coming. You know, it's a wonderful thing when a God of all creation shows us and tells us what's coming and how it's going to end up. Now, if we are still here, still among the land of the living, God is not done with us. He's still working on us, and he wants to work through us so that people will come to know him because of the lives that we're living. We serve a wonderful God, a God who foresees, who foreknows, and a God who provides. Thank you, my friend. I hope that this lesson has been encouraging to you. Continue to join us on Faith Walk 101.